everything is done by my parents. I need to document all the recipes. It takes me about 2 months to train a staff to do it properly. That is one of the key barriers of entry. Then I will never be able to find staff.
Welcome to the Brick Mortar Cloud Podcast, where we share scaling stories of food and beverage entrepreneurs. This podcast is produced by Staff Annie and Nila Studios. Today, I'm super privileged to have Eugene to join me on our podcast from Serangoon BBQ and Curry. Eugene, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Really amazing work doing scaling Nasi Padang in the heartlands with the outlet in Junction 8. Maybe you can share a little bit more about your story and how did the brand come about?
So my parents have been selling Nasi Padang since 1983. And they have always enlisted our help as kids to provide free labor. And we have been churning out curries, barbecue food for as long as we can remember. And but as we grew older and then we got involved in our jobs, we sort of like stopped going there to help. So, but each time I go down for lunch, I will always ask myself, actually, this business is quite profitable because there's always long queues, and at the end of the day, it has brought us up so big. So I always ask my dad, hey, why don't I come and help? But my father says, teaching is such a cushy job, so don't come and join me. So that thought was placed at the back of my mind, and it happened in 2020 when my father decided to retire because COVID came and the shop was too busy, he couldn't cope and he couldn't find help. So they sold the business away, had a bad experience handing it over to someone, and within 10 months, my father wanted to come back out of retirement because he had a lot of customers texting him, hey, the food cannot make it, can you come back and we miss your food. So my father got a shop at Xingming and then asked me, you want to come or not? Yeah, then I said, okay, let's do this because in my whole 15 years of teaching, I've never thought I would run a F&B business. So when the opportunity came on, I felt that I really need to do it because to let my father just retire and let the food just disappear, it's actually kind of painful. Their life centers around all the food that they provide. So I got into the business partly to help them leave a legacy and also to let more people eat the food that I grew up with so that more people can enjoy delicious food.
We'll talk about the brand shortly, but you mentioned 15 years teaching.
Yes.
Which school were you teaching before this?
I started out going back to my alma mater, Clementi Town Sec, teaching English. Then I went to HQ for a short stint, and my last phase was in Dunman High School.
Wow, 校友. I'm also from Dunman High School, 10 Tanjong Rhu Road, 诚信永宗.
With, Kongzi, we call him Johnny Kong. Johnny Kong.
Hopefully your students also come and support you in your outlets and to help with it as a customer. Yeah?
Yes, actually a lot of them. When I first started in Xingming, they even as early as my first batch of my kids, they came to eat. They come and then, because even when I was teaching, I share with them my story of me helping my parents as a kid. And then they also know that I sell Nasi Padang. And then when they found out that I opened a shop, they said, wow, you really did it.
Right.
Yeah, and wow, you always tell us to chase our dreams and all. So now you as a teacher has done what you told us that you wanted to do. So
Super.
yeah, so I'm now taking back all the interest that I paid in, all the blood and the sweat from them. So they come and eat quite often, actually.
Super. So one thing that we observe is that from your dad's generation, Uncle Tan and Auntie Cheong, when they did Nasi Padang, it was very traditional, right? Coffee shop style, hands-on, making every dish, placing it on the front, and that was, I think, the heritage brand that they brought food to the table and did an amazing job, of course. But when you took over and I saw how it had evolved in Junction 8, it became a lot more modern, and the branding and positioning has been very, very exciting, right? Like if you look at the cup over here for the camera quickly, from far it looks like a very modern play on Nasi Padang and all. So what is the vision of the brand? Like, when you came in to help the business, what was your vision and what do you want to bring to the world?
We started by wanting to disrupt the fast food industry by serving consistently delicious food quickly and then consistently good ones, so that in the process of doing so, we are also preserving flavors that we that Singaporeans should get to know. Because as I'm growing up, my parents have not really allowed us to eat processed food. And now when I see children in the malls or wherever, they are just hunkering over processed food. And so therefore we wanted to do a brand where it is still fast and bold, intense flavors, but real food, real carbs, real fiber, real protein.
So with this mission of bringing the heritage brand together with real unprocessed products, the way that you've shaped the business has also been pretty scalable. Are you guys looking to expand very aggressively in outlets level, and what's that vision in terms of the footprint that you're trying to achieve?
So we definitely have plans to open a few more outlets so that we can reach a wider audience. But before we do that, I need to overcome a challenge that my family business has always been facing. Like you said, everything is done by my parents. So I need to overcome the key man risk. And so what I did in the first place was to document all the recipes by stopping him while he's cooking, taking out a piece of cellophane or like a wrapping paper and say, you're going to put this in, right? So can you just put there, and then I weigh. So we went through the whole process of documenting all his recipes and videoing all the things that he cooked, which is why it gives me very good content to do all the reels.
Right.
And then after I've documented everything, then I try to cook it according to how I've really taken all the measurements. Yeah, so that was a very long process of trialing and R&Ding with his recipes. Yeah.
Super. And I think that is also, it seems like you have that education background, right? About how to learn and how to teach stuff. And then now you have all these processes and videos and, webinars or whatever you call it, that it can scale. And, when you have future outlets and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot more scalable.
Yes.
But one thing also that I saw is that the bowls that you serve is like almost like a rice bowl like concept rather than the traditional, maybe the brown paper
with
or
the banana
leaf
or
or something like that, right?
Yes.
So it seems like the brand has a lot of vision to scale in terms of both distribution and the brand experience. A bit more like a quick service restaurant or McDonald's for Nasi Padang than a coffee shop for Nasi Padang. Can you share a little bit more about that vision, that ambition, and why did you go for this kind of direction instead of the other way, which is maybe more hands-on and experiential and that kind of stuff?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I first I talked about the recipe, how it can be replicated regardless of who is cooking. The next part is the manpower. When we were operating in a coffee shop and we still wrap using the bungkus method, it takes me about 2 months to train a staff to do it properly. And while the person is doing it, hot lah, scalding then so there were a lot of issues, and so therefore everybody packs it differently. So we wanted to overcome that, because if that is one of the key barriers of entry, then I will never be able to find stuff.
Right.
So we thought of the bowls, because for bowls you can weigh everything.
Quality control.
Yes, in quality control, you can weigh how much your veggie is, your rice, and things like that. Then you give one less thing for the customers to complain, right? And when you have the bowls, it also is nicer. It looks more aesthetic as opposed to a packet of Nasi Padang. Then you open up, then everything just falls. Of course, there's some beauty in eating it that way. But if you are looking at scaling and reaching out to more people, getting them to eat over a corporate meal or like a training session or things like that, you can't have everyone eating over a brown piece of paper. Yeah, so we wanted to do it that way, and we also realized there was a gap in the market, because most of the bowls are Western cold salads.
Yes.
Yeah, and you either get chicken with rosemary or you get salmon cooked in don't know what and things like that, and then it's often broccoli that's frozen, steamed up, corn and all that. So we wanted to give the market something to try, and with our spices, with our chili and our curries, we also added some of the flavors that young Singaporeans like. Teriyaki sauce, salted egg sauce. So when we tell them you can eat chicken with teriyaki sauce, or you can have fried chicken with salted egg sauce, then you can pair it with our own floral coleslaw. You have various variations of how our food can come together to to cause this oral orgasm in your mouth. Lah.
Super.
Yeah.
Explosion of flavors.
Yeah.
So one thing also I observe is that you guys are built to scale. So is there a plan on like how many outlets you want to open in Singapore and the rest of the world?
Okay, because my business partner is a co-owner of a Skinlab Medical Spa and SL Aesthetic Clinic. So he has 10 clinics across the malls in Singapore. So locally, our aim is to open one Serangoon BBQ Curry alongside his clinic.
Wow.
So that there is some form of a some relationship, some kind of cross-referral. And then also we are replicating the growth strategy of his other business, which is to be in a mall and to be at major transport nodes. So that's locally. Globally, we just talk for fun because we all love to travel and we love to take Singapore Airlines. So we talk about how we would open an outlet wherever SQ flies to.
Hopefully we see one in Hong Kong, we see one in Dubai, we see one in Australia, many cities SQ fly towards and bringing this Asian flag high of Nasi Padang for the world. Amazing. So when we talk about your business model, people always see Nasi Padang, even in the traditional form, whether it's the coffee shop or food court, being a little bit more pricey and expensive. Can you share a little bit more about your business model and how is it different from the competition? How do you keep prices fair and what's that game? Is it more volume or how do you think about that P&L side of things?
Okay. So for the P&L side, my father, when he found out that we are going to do it this model, he keeps saying, don't sell it too expensive, or else people won't eat. But my response to him is it's actually not how cheap or how expensive the product is, but it's how much value do people get out of they spend. So if they spend $10, $13 to buy a bowl with one proper protein, one carbs, and two flavorful side dishes, actually the value that they get is definitely more than the $10 or $12 that they're going to pay. And if you're able to give them that kind of value, then the battle is half won. All right. So when we are looking at the food costs and how do we remain profitable, frankly, at the coffee shop, my dad just does a simple math. He buys at $1, he sells at $2. Right? It can survive because it's a family business. Right. They have enough to make ends meet and things like that. So over at our side, we are trying to keep it at 40% for the COGS, and then because or else it's not worth doing that. Yeah.
Right. One more thing that I saw that you execute very differently from other brands is that you do a lot of influencer marketing and social media marketing, even at one outlet level. I see that you have a very robust video content creation of recipes and stories and branding and all. Can you share a little bit more about how you intentionally position yourself different from your peers, right? And spend so much effort on marketing? Can you share a little bit of that journey so far and how the ROI is?
To tell you the truth, when I first started the SBC.1983 handle, my intention was to be like some of those brands where they follow no one and then they have a lot of following and then they're like some kind of a god there that in Instagram. So I actually wanted to be like that. Just have 9 photos of what I sell and just leave it there. People come there, then you come and eat the food. But my business partner, Dr. Gabriel Wong, has a totally different idea. So he's the brains behind the social media marketing and all that. He will have a lot of ideas looking at what's happening in TikTok, how do people film content and things like that. So the first thing that he told me to do to generate content is to film my parents saying good sizzling morning. So every morning when we first started, I will go to the shop, and depending on my mother's mood on that day, I have to be especially nice or especially naughty to catch her unaware or catch her or get her to do a rehearsed thing. So every morning she will do a good sizzling morning so that the customers the viewers will be, hey, your mom is so cute and things like that. So from there, I also want to share with the world how my family come together. And because working at the Nasi Padang place is the only core memory that the family has. We don't go out to parks for walk. We don't have dinners outside and things like that. So when we first started to do social media, first it was featuring my family members, my parents, them at work, them in love, them quarreling. It's just a reflection of actually everybody's family.
Right.
Yeah. So when they see it, they say, hey, I can relate with it because we know whatever business you do, the relationship, the emotional connection is very important.
Right.
So we first talked about the family relationship, and then we went into creating a lot of ASMR videos because that was a hype that time. So I would go in, bring my mother aside from the grill, and then just film an ASMR, either flat lay or things like that. So we do ASMR a lot. Subsequently, because we had a SBC gift back, we were delivering food to the elderly. And then over the course of 2-3 years, either out of our own pocket or our friends, they will donate, and then we just do it on. Then I started to feature the elderly, how my interaction with them and how they treated me like a godson, a god grandson, and things like that. So people really like to see this kind of very warm, heartfelt kind of a thing. So that's how we sort of evolve our content creation when we were at Xingming.
Right.
And then obviously Gabriel is the one who gives ideas, then I will go and shoot. Yeah, and when I shoot, I will bring it back to him, then he will say, it cannot work, you have to do it this way and all that. So he's the brains, I'm the implementer. But when we went to Junction 8, it was entirely his intention. He how we do the renovation video or things like that. A lot of it we learn by ourselves. So we use cap cards, we pay for all those things, and then that's how we started to do. Yeah, and we keep thinking of what are other takes on. We cannot keep saying food, talking about food. So we bring the Labubus in.
3 Labubus in outlet, 1 mega one and 2 medium one. The medium is very big already.
So we bring the Labubus in and then use it as a medium to introduce our shop or introduce our food to the people, because we don't want to be too direct in terms of creating content.
Right, I think this is a good learning for all food and beverage entrepreneurs, right? When you create a brand, sometimes it's about the story, it's about family, it's about how people can relate with you. And then when you talk about new outlet renovation, you talk about the people around you, the community, like the elderly, you talk about even Labubu, it can be anything, right? And I think kudos, I think your team has been, or yourself and Gabriel, right, has been very, very creative in capitalizing on all these content and trends and everything. And I think the rawness and the realness of it is what transcends everything that maybe a very commercial will not be able to bring, and kudos to that. So, when you operate the F&B, there's always success and failures. And people always say, out of 10 F&B that open in the first year, how many will die and stuff. Could you share what is your most challenging moment when opening the Junction 8 outlet? Because that is a leapfrog of your previous model. What is the most difficult thing that you had to overcome?
So we thought we had everything thought out. The cooking, the Combi oven is working, the staff is all ready, and our TV menu is up.
Right.
When the customers come, the first thing they ask is, where's your food?
Because they cannot see the thing, right?
Because they don't see any food, and they only see Labubus, and they see self-ordering kiosks. And the TV menu that we put up, when we designed it, we thought it was intuitive.
Right.
I think we always have to think of like, how is it being received on the other end? So we spent a lot of time going through with them how to order. And then after they know how to order, they go to the kiosk. I don't want to press. Can you press for me? Yeah. So that was one of the biggest challenges. So overnight, over the past 1-2 weeks when we first started, we spent a lot of time discussing what's the most intuitive flow, and then our back-end designers will redo the menu, and then we have to equip ourselves to always sell the story and educate customers on how you order. So that was the most difficult thing actually when we first started out.
Is there any other thing that you want to highlight to other listeners that they could maybe, get inspired to learn one leaf from that book?
For us in the F&B, first you need people to come and try your food. That will create the initial hype. Right? And then in your first 1 month, you will suddenly have a boom because you think that you are very popular. But the key thing is what happens in the second and the third month, whether
Retention.
you will have repeat customers. Yeah. So far, we have been quite fortunate because one of the I wouldn't say we are successful yet, but one of the things that help us until now is that we have chosen to open our first outlet in Bishan because we have always been in Bishan, Sarangun area for the past 20-30 years. So we have two kinds of customers. One is our regulars, whom they come and eat and then they repeat. They keep coming back. And I also have fear because they will say that this one is cooked by the sun.
Different.
It's not nice and things like that. So I introduced the oven at Xingming 1 year before. And it's in full view of the customers. And customers know that, hey, it's no longer my mom flipping the chicken on the grill. Now it's cooked in the oven. And we use that time to educate them to say that it's actually healthier because there's no oil, right? And most of the time, you all complain, right? The chicken is always very dry, but the skin is very crispy. So now I give you something in between. The chicken is moist, but not so crispy, right? So we use that time to educate them so that when they go to the Junction 8 place, they eat it, they are familiar with the taste, and then they will come back. Yeah. For the new customers, it's really about exciting them about our brand, exciting them about my story, and then I always tell them, welcome, this is a family recipe from my parents, we've been selling this for 40 years. Then they will be very interested in the story. So they will eat, and then how you know they are successful, you keep seeing them coming back. And my youngest supporter is a 4-5-year-old girl, Naila. She was so attracted by Labubu, told her grandma's sister that I want to eat with Labubu. So she came, sat next to the Labubu and ate, and then the grandma was like, I'm very surprised because she's usually very picky with her food. And since then, she has been coming 4-5 times a week.
Wow, regular, super regular.
Just to eat just to eat with the Labubu.
Right.
And she has gone from curry chicken to salmon, not the beef rendang yet. So and then she's always drinking the Slurpee and things like that.
That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
so
That's
when
a
you
very good
see
story.
regulars coming back, new ones come and then they keep coming back, I think it just then I can go and tell my father that, hey, actually your food is very popular and people really love it.
Right. I think this is a good learning point for everybody trying to do food and beverage. It's all about retention. The first month is always a hype. And if you're able to get the returning customers, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 2 times a month even, whatever frequency, because you can't eat fancy 5-star restaurant every day, right? But at least they are returning. That is a sign of your product market fit where customers find value and enjoyment in your concept and they want to come back again. And the second thing that I thought was very good sharing is about how this Labubu craze, you capitalize on it in some sense, and you have such a amazing fan that is a 4-year-old, right, to support you and bring the family along. So great learnings, and I hope people, learn from it. So moving on to the next part of our show, we always talk about industry, standards and tech stack. So when you operate at your current scale, of course, at one outlet, you may not be that metrical, but you guys are going for 10 and much larger. Have you guys set up the rails to be very KPI driven? Do you have an outlet manager that you track certain ratios, and how are you on KPIs?
Okay, so to tell you frankly, I had no idea of doing all this. Even when I was running Xingming, I just do normal accounting. I managed to recruit a staff who is now positioned as my manager. So he has some experience running multi-outlets and things like that. And he was the one who told me, hey, you need to have certain spreadsheets to calculate and all that. So I just pass him all the things. And he just documents everything, and he comes back to me to say that your food cost, if it's 30% and lower, or then you have certain incentive for the staff and all. So he is tracking everything down to how many bowls we are using, how many sets of cutlery we are giving out. So we are tracking and we are tying it back to the staff reward
incentive scheme,
scheme, and then we are also tracking to see whether we can give more value to the customer. Because if we realize that the food cost is lower than what we expected, then we can afford to give more.
Right.
And when we give more, everybody benefits. Right. Yeah, customers find more value. They feel more satisfied, and we keep them coming back. So it's not really about making a lot of money about the profits, because at the end of the day, it's like what my father says, whether 他们吃的值不值得, whether there's value in it.
Right. And it is good also learning for everybody, right? Sometimes you need to just have the right manager to work with you to scale that processes. And I think even as a business owner, we all need to be open to feedback and to improve, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we are not the best in the world, and when they give us some of these spreadsheets or things to track, and it makes sense, we take the feedback and that will help us with our business. So I hear just now you mentioned food costs, try to keep it within 40%, your manager is trying to push to 30% and trying to give good experience and value to the customers. How about other areas like labor costs? Are you guys managing that well? Do you guys have a KPI on something like that?
Before I met my manager, I was doing some kind of a tabletop exercise for the costing with Gabriel. And we sort of talked about how rental, if it's capped to 20 to 25%,
Right.
and then labor cost is 20 to 25%, and then if we project, we do 100K in terms of revenue, so that's how you
Agak,
know,
right? Yeah.
agak, and then the rest of the 50% is based on your COGS.
Right.
Right, then if your COGS is high, then you take less and things like that. So
Right.
we sort of we just do it at 25% for rental and stuff.
So one of the things that fast food chains, just to exchange ideas, like to use is a concept called sales per labor hour. So they like to look at the footfall and the sales lah, right? And then to try to do a ratio on labor. If you are busy period like the lunch crowds and all, then we need more people. And then low period like the 3 o'clock period, maybe not need so many people, right? And one of the ways they do it is that they try to look at the POS data. And then they divide by the scheduled staff hours to just see if the ratio is okay. Now, of course, there's going to be some limitations, like if let's say the person is there for the full shift, you can't split shift
Yes,
and
correct.
stuff, right? But sometimes people supplement it with part-timers, casual workers, and whatnot. And I think at your concept at Junction 8, so accessible, I'm sure you guys are adopting some of these part-time workers?
Yes, yeah.
Housewives and all to help with the
Currently,
business?
I have two students,
Right.
two students studying in NAFA, helping as a part-timer, and then another one who is doing a home dining service where,
business.
a home business, so she can come and
Right.
do help us with the front of house.
Right.
Yes,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, so we sort of deploy them during the busy lunch and the dinner periods. Whereas for the full timers, like you said, you can't stagger them
Too much, yeah,
Yeah,
like you said.
but at
Yeah.
least they get a reasonable break in between. You don't they feel like they've been taken care of lah.
Right. So we
Yeah.
talk about food costs, we talk about labor costs, now it's about rental. So you guys chose the first scale up to be J8, which J8 is notoriously known for expensive rental. And I think the next one, I don't know if you can showcase, is in a potential hospital, right, you mentioned.
Yes.
How do you then think about rental strategy? Do you pick the place that has the best footfall, pay a bit more rent, or do you how do you balance that? Like, what's your strategy on rental?
We actually wanted to go for location because we are not a very well-known brand, so we definitely need the footfall. Vis-a-vis, I spend less on rental, and then in the end, I pay using my time and energy to think of how do I create the demand to go to the shop. And I think, especially when we are starting a business, we don't want to spend all this time and energy doing that. So that's why our strategy is to go for a place with good location, pay a little bit higher for the rent, so at least it sort of help us solve one of the problems. And once you have a lot of passers-by walking through, that's where we started to give out free chicken.
Right.
We give out free chicken with the sauces and all that, and then we are quite confident once you taste our food, you'll be very inclined to try. Yeah. So our strategy is really going for for places with high footfall.
Right.
Yeah.
Then talk about expansion plan. Now we are on 1, going to 2, and hopefully more will multiply this year. What's the strategy between you and your partner? Are you guys looking at making sure that you guys have certain reach earlier, even though some outlets may not be fully profitable? Or you want to make sure every outlet must be profitable first, then you open the next outlet? What's that financial strategy that you guys are thinking about?
We just signed the letter of offer to go to
Congratulations.
Raffles Hospital. We went there to take a look, and also by a stroke of coincidence, we were introduced to that place and all that. I think we go there because we wanted to have a presence near the CBD area, because we were getting a lot more corporate orders from that we deliver to Shenton Way, to Penang Road and things like that. And for the food to travel better and to reach in a more desirable state, we thought to be nearer, it would then sort of help us serve more of these corporate orders. So that was one of the decisions on why we wanted to take Raffles Hospital, because it's near where we want to serve, and it will enable us to reach out to new market segments like tourists, because they will definitely walk past the area to go to Arab Street. Yeah, so with a very, what they call intended kind of a marketing, we will be able to draw people to come to our place as a place of interest, and then you are tasting food that is uniquely Singaporean.
Right.
Yeah, so when we took up our Raffles Hospital, that was the intention. Of course, also to serve the staff and the patients and the family members, because most of them, they require a halal food, which we are also in the process of getting the certification. So we thought the Raffles Hospital thought they were a good fit, so therefore we took up that space.
Super. And I think that the idea of thinking of when you expand your reach is also for branding in that location and to help with the delivery models and corporate orders. That's very, very intentional and smart. But would you open a third and fourth outlet or fifth outlet before these two become successful? Like, what's that plan?
So before we opened Junction 8, we told ourselves we have to open one, or else no one will take us seriously.
Okay.
So when we opened the first one, we make sure that everything is done out nicely, so that people who want us to be in their malls or people who are interested in us, we'll bring them here. This is a showcase and things like that. But after 1-2 months after we opened Junction 8, we had a lot of people, a lot of the malls coming, hey, I want you to go there. Then,
Wow, that's a demand, that's a pull.
Yeah, so there's some, then we said, okay, we better open more, because if you have two, people will take us more seriously.
Seriously, yes, exactly.
Then, so that's why we were actively looking, and it doesn't have to be profitable, because I think at the end of the day, if we are confident with the food and service quality they are giving, people will come back.
It's a matter of time then.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, and I mean in all F&B business, you just have to maintain a healthy cash flow, and you just open. And I think the other way to see it is the more you open, the more you can actually drive your costs down lower, because you buy in bulk and all that.
COGS and everything.
So you will get some savings from there. Yeah, but of course, as you open, you have to be very selective where you open.
That's super amazing. Moving on to things like digital transformation, because we're talking about like cloud and scalability. Is there anything that you guys have invested that turned out to be very, very useful and successful that you want to share with our audience?
Two things. First is investing in the Rational Combi oven. The Combi oven. I worked with them for 2 years to fully transform the cooking of Nasi Padang dishes using the oven. Right, and that one involved a lot of taste tests, blind tests, bringing my father there and things like that. So with that, I can consistently prepare and cook the food according to what we want, without having to rely on a key man.
Right, rather than tao chiu every day need to go and goreng, right? Now you have an oven, everybody follow the SOP, it becomes more scalable in that sense, right? Yes.
Yeah, and don't have to depend on the mood of the person that day and things like that. So that is one key thing. The second thing that we invested in is in a POS that has a CRM. Yeah, because I mean, moving forward, it's all about data and about big data, how you analyze consumer behaviors and things like that. And how do we make them keep coming back? Is to analyze what they buy, when they buy, and then come up with certain deals that suit them, because it's all about personalization, so that they will always remember. So 2 months already, we have our database is close to 1,500.
Very good, very good. And you can re-engage them and they can bring back Chinese New Year promotions and whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's the second thing that we thought it is worth spending the money to do it, because any business you will definitely need a database to, because they are already your customers. So you have to keep them coming back.
Now we're going to move on to the final part of our show, which is the Quickfire question. So we can ask you a series of questions and then you try to answer in as short as you can.
Okay.
All right. So the first question over here is that who is someone in the industry that you respected a lot and you learned a lot from?
Chef Andre Chiang. My first fine dining experience with him. His storytelling through the food is really amazing. Recently went to his last dance in Raw. He served his memories again, and I can tell you it's the only food that I mean so far it's the only food that I cry when I eat.
I'm so jealous. Yeah, you got to go to Raw for his closing.
I'm reading his book, The Aesthetics of Work. It's written in Chinese, taking me a long time to read through, but in there are tons of wisdom, and I really appreciate and admire his dedication to the craft.
Right.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you would hope that someone had given you before you started your first outlet?
Just do it. Don't overthink.
Don't overthink.
I've been overthinking. Like, if I sell it at this price, would they want to eat it?
Just do it.
Then I'll be worried that so you just do and then let the food do the talking.
Right. Very good. If you have a son or daughter that wants to join you as a third generation, what will you tell him or her?
I will say the same thing to him. What my father told me. It's about serving the people, giving them access to delicious food, and don't rip them off.
Super.
Yeah.
If I were to dine with you in your outlet, let's say next week, and then of course we are friends, and you're gonna like show me your best dishes and the best experience, what would you order for me so that we have the best time in your outlet?
I will first introduce you to our very traditional combination, a grilled chicken with bergedil and curry vegetable on rice, and then
Classic.
a dollop of the sambal belacan. So that is something that we've been selling for 40 over years. And then maybe the next round, I will tell you, hey, why don't you try a modern take on KFC? Fried chicken, my Serangoon fried chicken with a bergedil and coleslaw. Coleslaw, which I use ginger flour to marinate, so it cuts through all the jala and
I
things
love
like that.
ginger flour.
Yeah, and then a dollop of our sweet sambal.
Super.
Yeah.
How should someone listening to this podcast that wants to follow your brand or your journey follow you?
Our Instagram handle is sbc.1983. You see tons of interesting content there.
Really amazing content.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only place. Then so far we are also on TikTok. We're trying to gather some following or some traction in TikTok. And also, I think SBC.1983. You have to ask Gabriel. He's the guy who manages everything.
You know, if let's say there's an aspiring F&B entrepreneur that wants to learn from your experience, you know, given the fact that you have done traditional business to becoming such a QSR kind of concept or McDonaldify the Nasi Padang experience, are you willing to offer one coffee session with someone in our following?
Yeah, I'm more than willing because my past life I was a teacher and my portfolio was about nurturing and mentoring students. So I'm also working with Spectra Secondary School to offer internship for their Sec 3 students and Sec 4 kids because it's part of their requirements and things like that. Yeah, so I'm more than happy to do this.
But if there's like one final thing you'd like to share with our listeners, what will it be before our end of our podcast?
Thank you so much for all your support. And if you have not eaten our food before, come try. Because we are pretty confident that it will amaze you and keep you coming back.
That's super. Together we have Eugene from Serangoon BBQ and Curry. And really today, amazing time to learn from your experiences, and I wish you the best in scaling up. We need a local heritage brand like yours to punch above the weight and to be in every mall, and I'm very, very excited and rooting for you. All the best, Eugene.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Super. Thank you.